Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, I've been holding on to this guy for a while now. This is the iPhone 14 Pro in that classic gold finish. Can you believe it's been 3 years since this phone came out? Time really flies in the tech world. You know, with the iPhone 17 Pro already out and making headlines, a lot of you have been asking me specifically about the 14 Pro. Like, is it still worth picking up in late 2025? Or if you're still using one, should you really feel the pressure to upgrade? So I decided to pull this out of my bag, literally, because this has been my trusty backup phone for a while now, and really look at how it holds up today. We're going to talk about the design, how the battery is surviving after 3 years, the camera, and honestly, the software. Because running iOS 26 on this thing has been kind of an eye-opener for me. I'm going to keep this real with you guys, no hype, just my honest experience living with this phone as a secondary driver and what you need to know before you spend your money. Let's get into it. Before we check the specs and numbers, let's just look back for a second. When this phone dropped in 2022, the big conversation was all about the dynamic island, right? It was the first time Apple ditched the notch. Back then, it felt like such a massive shift. And looking at it now, it's still the standard. I mean, even the base models have it now, so this phone doesn't look old from the front. That's a huge plus point. Also, this was the phone that introduced the 48 megapixel main camera and the always on display. Those were the standout features that made this phone feel pro. But you know, 3 years is a long time. Technologies evolve, designs change. We have unibody aluminum now. So the question is, does that stainless steel luxury still feel good, or does it just feel heavy? Speaking of the display, honestly, this is where the iPhone 14 Pro still shines. It's got that ProMotion 120Hz, and paired with the newest iOS 26 update, wow. I have to mention this because I've been running the public stable release of iOS 26 for over a month now on this unit. Apple really did something special with the UI this year. You know, that new liquid glass design language everyone is talking about. Personally, I absolutely love it. The 14 Pro handles these new animations so well. It's incredibly fluid. It makes older software like iOS 18 feel old. And that's really the best part about being in the Apple ecosystem, isn't it? You have this device that's 3 years old, yet it looks and feels almost identical to the brand new iPhone 17 Pro when you're just navigating the UI. Apple's commitment to that 5-year OS support is just, it's solid. You don't feel left behind here. Now let's talk performance. I actually ran Geekbench 6 on this just to see where we stand numerically. The results? I got 2646 on single core and 6740 on multi-core. For a 3-year-old chip, the A16 Bionic is still putting up a fight. In my day-to-day usage, opening apps, swiping between tasks, it's pretty snappy. And here is a key thing I want to point out for you guys. RAM. This phone has 6 gigabytes of RAM. I always say this when I'm reviewing older base models like the iPhone 12 or 13. Those had 4 gigabytes. And nowadays, with how heavy apps are, you see a lot of background reloading. It gets annoying. But with 6 gigabytes on the 14 Pro, the RAM management is significantly better. It's still very decent. Apps stay open longer. Now, obviously, if we compare to the iPhone 17 Pro, yeah, that thing has 12 gigabytes of RAM now. It's a monster. The 17 Pro is a massive leap for the long run. I think that 12 gigabytes is going to be the standard for the next 2 or 3 models, but for right now, the 14 Pro doesn't feel slow by any means. I do some gaming on this. Usually when my main phone is charging, it handles high demanding games very well. It's playable, frame rates are good. The only thing is, yeah, it gets noticeably warm. Not burn your hands hot, but after a long session you definitely feel that heat through the stainless steel rails. It's not annoying for me, but it's there. Okay, let's address Apple Intelligence. Does the iPhone 14 Pro support it? No. You need at least an iPhone 15 Pro for that. But honestly, for me, it's not a huge deal. You guys know I review a lot of tech, and Apple Intelligence right now, it feels very beta. It's early days. Personally, when I need AI, I'm not looking for Siri to summarize an email. I usually just open up alternative apps that are frankly more powerful right now. I use Google Gemini or ChatGPT on this phone all the time, and they work perfectly. So if you're worried you're missing out on the AI revolution by buying a 14 Pro, don't be. You have access to all the best AI tools via apps anyway. Okay, let's talk battery. This is usually the pain point with older devices. So my unit here has 80% battery health. This is the original battery, never changed. Now keep in mind, this isn't my daily driver. I use the 14 Pro mainly as a backup. It sits in my bag or on my desk a lot. I grab it when I want to test a new iOS or just to scroll social media when my main phone is on the charger. With 80% health, I haven't noticed a massive improvement with iOS 26 regarding battery life. It feels pretty much the same as before. It gets me through the backup tasks easily, but if this was your main device and you're at 80% health, you're probably going to be looking for a charger by late afternoon if you're a heavy user. That's just the reality of battery chemistry after 3 years. Okay, now quickly on the cameras. Honestly, the 48 megapixel sensor on this thing still holds up really well. You know, unless you're pixel peeping, the photos look sharp and the dynamic range is that classic reliable Apple look. I actually still prefer this 3x optical zoom over the newer 5x lenses on the 16 Pro or Pro Max. For portraits or just snapping pics of food or family, 3x just feels like the sweet spot. You don't have to back up across the room to get the shot. And for video, it's rock solid. I've used this for B-roll on the channel and the 4K footage is smooth and usable. So unless you absolutely need that crazy zoom reach or slightly better low light performance, this camera system doesn't feel old at all. It gets the job done and it does it well. Okay, before we wrap up, we have to talk about the downsides because there are a few things you really need to consider. First, the weight. If you're coming from a standard iPhone or even a newer Titanium Pro, you are gonna feel this. The 14 Pro is dense. But the biggest consideration, the charging port. This phone still uses Lightning. In a world where everything, my iPad, my laptop, the new iPhones is all USB-C, having to carry a specific Lightning cable just for this phone is, well, it's becoming a bit of a hassle. Also, compared to the iPhone 15 Pro and newer, you miss out on those contoured edges. The 14 Pro is a bit boxy and sharp in the hand. It's not uncomfortable, but you definitely notice the difference in ergonomics compared to the newer models. So, here is my verdict for the iPhone 14 Pro 3 years later. If you're looking to buy a phone right now, I recommend the iPhone 14 Pro if, and this is a big if, you can find it at a stealing price. Because the prices have dropped since the newer models came out. This phone offers incredible value. You get that ProMotion display, great cameras, decent RAM management, and smooth performance on iOS 26. For budget-conscious buyers who want a pro experience, this is a solid win. However, and hear me out on this, if you are looking at the used market and the price gap between this and the iPhone 15 Pro isn't that big, just get the iPhone 15 Pro. With the 15 Pro, you're getting the USB-C port, which is huge for future-proofing. You get the titanium design, which is lighter. You get the contoured edges, and you get the chip that supports Apple Intelligence, if that matters to you later on. So grab the 14 Pro if it's a bargain, but if you can stretch the budget just a little bit more, the 15 Pro is the better long-term play. Anyway, that's been my experience revisiting the 14 Pro. It's still a beast of a phone, just with a few age spots. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments. Are you still rocking a 14 Pro or are you planning to upgrade? I'll catch you in the next one.